not gonna use minor setback as a, somebody may be going through a major setback.
Blessings all for my life, but thank God for the journey. Earnings are just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. Blessings fall by my right hand. But I don't for the friends that take off the road one time. Then sit down in a class.
Hi, and welcome to my video. I wanted to come on here real quick, y'all. It's been a crazy week, but I wanted to specifically talk about setbacks. And I believe a setback is what you make it, right? But we talking about minor setbacks and major setbacks. And so I have had a pretty interesting week, right? And if you've watched my last video about my plan and how I've been paying down my debt, sometimes, and this is a learned thought, right? And I'm trying to break this, is when you're saving money or you pay off debt, it's that thing we say of, oh, every time I try to save money, oh, here come a problem. I gotta put my money here. I can't save my money because I gotta use it for this. And something my mom always has told me was, look at it as the fact that at least you had the money to do it. And I literally now have gotten in the habit of when I start to worry or when I start to tell myself that, I'll think about my mom and what she told me, right? So the issue is this week and a little of last week was that I have some car trouble. My car is in the shop and I took it to one place. They fixed a small issue, but it didn't quite fix what the problem was. And so I took it to who I normally take it to. Y'all, they've had my car for 4 days, right? And I looked at it as every time I take my car to them, they fix the problem, literally. And so I'm trying to give them grace because they are a smaller auto shop and it's only 2 or maybe 3 of them. But he told me the day of that they were backed up, but I personally didn't think 4 days backed up. I've been 2 days, but 4 days, So I got a little frustrated, but then I remind myself, self-talk, just I'm thankful, because I've been able to take Lyft to work. The fact that I can afford to take Lyft, I'm so grateful for, right? I'm about to be able to pay to get my car fixed and I'm good, right? So I look at it as this is a minor setback for those reasons. And another thing that I looked into, and this was a while ago, but if you are using Lyft, look into, especially if you have a Hilton's rewards program, you can actually attach your Hilton's account to your Lyft, and I believe it's every $1 that you spend with Lyft, you get $3 or 3 points towards your Hilton's reward program. If you didn't know that, look into that, okay? Because if I'm gonna take Lyft, or even like when you use your credit card, like if I'm gonna use this credit card, I need to be getting some points or some type of benefits from this, right? And that's why I am trying to break the habit of using my debit card. I don't use it for all my purchases or all my bills, but I'm trying to get in the habit of just letting that be the account where the money sits, and I use that to pay on my credit card. So that's one tip that I'm working towards for my debt in the future, as far as like debt that I'm gonna be paying off and not that's gonna be sitting, accumulating. And I don't know. I feel like, sometimes if you are having a moment whether that be in relationships, whether that be with your finances, whether that be work. I know a lot of people right now are struggling with either keeping a job or finding a job, and relationships, you know, depending on people. I've seen some really good or heard some really good experiences with romantic relationships and friendships, and I've heard the opposite. And like I said, you know, it's really what you make of it. So it's nothing wrong with, I guess, feeling your emotion and having that negative thought, but you have to reinforce self-talk, and you have to be able to control your emotions and be able to bring yourself back to the positivity and finding the peace and finding the, you know, the positivity in what's happening, right? And I'm not gonna use minor setback as a, you know, somebody may be going through a major setback. So, you know, not to take away anybody's discomfort in their situation, but, you know, just I think that would make life easier to really look at, like, what is really happening in this moment? What is this teaching me? And, you know, I just feel like it has shown me who actually has my back and that will look out for me. And even if these people had said no, I would have been okay with that. But the fact that some people went out their way to make sure that I was good, that's family and friends. I really, really appreciate those people in my life, because sometimes I can be super independent and a little selfish when it comes to asking for help, or sometimes I just feel uncomfortable with asking for help, and that's another thing that I'm working on. But and that plays a huge part in communication, and I feel like too, a lot of times that's why, you know, I tend to just do it myself, because in my mind, I believe, like, sometimes I feel like, oh, if somebody says no, oh, they're not, you know, they don't love you, or you feel rejected, or you feel like alone. So instead of being in a place where you feel codependent, or you feel like you don't want to be let down, you would just do it for yourself so that you don't have to worry about someone telling you no or somebody rejecting you. And it's a part of life, and it just depends on, I guess, what you've gone through in your life. But I really, based on experience, ask for help if you need help. And if somebody says no, that is okay. That's okay if they say no. That may not work for them in their life. And, you know, I just feel like God has helped me so much, and He has revealed so much to me in the past years. And having the little moments where, like, you're on a high and you're seeing, like, things develop in your life, and you feel good and you feel happy, and those moments come in where you question, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Or what is, you know, am I doing this? Like, you set intentions to do something, and then you can envision, like, your life happy and you exceeding in everything, and then those little things come in to, like, shake things up. Those are the moments where you have to test your faith, and you have to really get creative and figure out how to move forward. And finding those things that help you kind of navigate and get your thoughts out, writing it on paper, making videos like this, or just simply maybe therapy, or talking to a friend or somebody that has the experience or that been through what you've gone through, and hearing it from another human that's willing to, you know, be that listening ear for you. So, you know, things are gonna happen, and I know at that moment it's hard, or you may feel emotional, or you know, you may feel hopeless, and it's such a vulnerable moment too. And it's okay, because what I like to do is I like to think back on some of my hardest moments, right? I like to think back on some of my hardest moments and think how I got through that. And when I look back, the stuff didn't make sense then. Like, it was like, and really, to be honest, some of them times I didn't even feel discouraged. Like, I remember one time it was like I lost my apartment, I was sleeping in the car, I was like at peace. I was able to save money. I didn't have to stress about trying to pay my rent. It really gave me free, like, it was almost 2 months, and it gave me peace of mind where I could just sit and relax and not think about any of those major bills that I had. Y'all, when I tell you, so much was coming to me, like in abundance. Like, I was meeting different people. I was getting invited to different events and being in certain types of circles of, like, you know, more creative people like myself. And these were just strangers that I was meeting, but it was such a good time for me. And I think the biggest thing was I let go of the idea of what I had, whether that been material things, whether that I lost a cousin in that time. So I was already emotional about that. So it was a lot going on. Like, I was working 3 jobs at one point because I was just trying to pay my bills. And I know I'm all over the place. This is usually how I talk, but I'm trying to get better with keeping my stories in order. But to go back to, I remember it might have been like 2015. Yeah, like 2015. I had been working as a massage therapist and an esthetician, and something happened where I ended up walking out of the job, and I walked out, y'all, with no backup. I didn't have a job application sent nowhere. Like, I didn't have anything set up. And I remember the lady, the hairstylist that was doing my hair at the time, she was almost, she reminded me so much of my cousin. At the time, my cousin was living, but she reminded me so much of my cousin. So she's like a big sister. And I remember calling her and letting her know, like, I just walked out of my job and I don't know what I just did. Like, what did I just do? And she told me to come up to the shop, and I went up there and we talked. I can't remember the actual conversation, but she knew that I had my hair license. So that was the first license. The first thing that I went to school for was cosmetology. And then I went for massage, and then I went for dual license for massage and skincare at Aveda. And so she knew that, and because she had been doing my hair, she knew, like, you know, I did my own hair sometimes. So she asked me, she was like, I actually need a salon assistant. You know, you can come up here. Now, I think I was only getting paid like $10 an hour, but for me, that was like, I'm cool with that because I was going to get to do something that I love to do. So I surrendered to it, right? And I just went work with her. And then I had started my own mobile massage business. So I was out networking at like networking events, meeting professional people, you know, and building relationships. And I was actually getting referrals. And I had a lot of women at first, and then it turned into like a lot of couples. And I had a whole thing with that. So that was doing both of those. And y'all, when I tell you, my rent was only $785 a month. It was right outside of Orlando, Florida. With them 2 jobs, I couldn't afford to pay my rent. And then plus you think of utilities, you got food, gas. I think I had a car payment at that time, insurance. Y'all, I was struggling, them 2 jobs. So guess what I did? I went and got a third job. And my massage business wasn't as consistent, so I could still customize my schedule on that end. But when I was at the salon, I was working from like 8 to 10 p.m., 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Homegirl was working. But in the process of that, where I'm going with this is that I was working 3 jobs and I still couldn't pay $785 a month. And what I see now, what I didn't see then, was God wasn't meaning for me to pay that $785. God didn't want me to. I was trying so hard to keep everything that I had that I wasn't willing to let it go. And that's when it got uncomfortable for me, because I wasn't supposed to have it. So when I finally just gave up, like luckily my complex was nice enough to just give me a little leeway of like, just pay this amount and you can break the lease. But I remember giving away all of my stuff, taking some of my stuff to the dumpster. And I had a cat at the time. Y'all, I had to give away my cat. I lost a lot of things that were important to me. But when I realized what was going on, I had a notebook that, and I write a lot. I have a lot of journals. I got some in storage right now. I ain't no telling what's in them. But it was one journal that I purchased just to write down new things that I learned. So like I would Google a random Google, like I don't know if it was every day, but every so often. And I had a page in there on how to survive on a deserted island. And I don't know why, but I put in there how to survive in my car. And y'all, when I found that notebook and I saw that page, it literally gave me peace of mind. I knew exactly what to do when I lost my apartment and had to sleep in my car. I knew to go get a gym membership so I have somewhere to take a shower. I knew to go get a P.O. box. I knew to go get a storage unit. I had every step. I literally followed just those steps, right? And I remember like nobody knew that I was sleeping in my car. The lady I worked for, I think I had left there, I only worked 2 jobs. And then I met a couple of people. I got to go to On the Run tour for only $100 because a girl at work couldn't go. She was like, I'm just trying to get rid of the ticket. And then I got to go to like the Florida Classics with a friend, a guy that I met, and he was super sweet to me. And I did I think it was called Immersed Orlando, where they do this big like art thing downtown Orlando. And I was just feeling so light. I was on not on Deal or No Deal, but I was paid to sit in the audience. And even that, like my brother was working at a radio station at the time, and even the people that he was connected to, like we all was just, it was just rotating in and out, and it was just so peaceful. I was able to save up my money, and my cousin passed away. And at that time, I said 2015, so 2016, I discovered that I could draw and paint. Y'all, this was nothing that I did as a kid. It happened. I'm very like open to changing like my hobbies and stuff, but when it comes to like life, like moving or letting go of like certain things, like major things, it's hard for me. But my career and my hobbies, I flow, right? And so the reason I brought up the painting thing was because one of my cousins at the funeral, when I went after the funeral, she found out that I was painting and drawing, and I showed her some of my stuff, and she was like, you know, have you heard of SCAD? And I was like, no. She said, well, it's an art school, but they have one in Savannah and they have one in Atlanta. And she was just pretty much like, check into it, that would be really good for you if you wanted to change careers. And so that was one of the major reasons too. I had made up my mind that I needed a career change. I didn't want to do massage anymore. I was exhausted. And so that was going to be my thing, my new thing, is to be a painter. And so moving fast forward, I moved down here with my cousin she gave me about a year to, you know, get out there and find a job and, you know, get school and stuff situated. And it just didn't work out with the school. I was like almost done with my paying off my school debt. And when I saw the tuition, I was like, I'll be kind of crazy to start over. So we gonna just find us some random, you know, studios that offer like paint and sips and stuff like that, and just paint on my own time. And so, yeah, that's what brought me to Atlanta. And it was supposed to be for art school, but I ended up finding a job through a hashtag on Instagram. And y'all, that lady at that salon, she pretty much helped me evolve into where I'm at now. And I'm just grateful. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, I had my mind set on something totally different back then, and now I can look and really think about, like, everything happens for a reason, literally. So surrender, and it's okay to change, and it's okay to let go, and just enjoy if you can. I know some things are a little hard. I get it, especially when we're talking finances, and especially when we're talking about in 2024. I get it, it's not easy. But if you can find peace in it and you can look at the bigger picture, your process will be so much easier. You know, when you fight against things, it's like going against the grain. Sometimes you just gotta relax and just know God got you, and have faith that God got you. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with somebody, because I was having a moment and I had to remind myself, like, look where you came from. Okay? You will be just fine, and you gonna keep being fine. So I hope this helps somebody, and hopefully it encourages somebody to, you know, just be light on yourself. Give yourself grace. God got you. Okay? All right. So I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.